Excellent connection. Oh, well, give me a better looking connection than that, baby. Come on, hook your boy up. Well, how am I supposed to do that when I can't go out? Let's rock and roll, baby. All right, well, I'm streaming to nobody right now, but hopefully somebody joins
You're
in,
back.
asks a few questions,
waiting for
and until
you.
then,
There are matters that
I'll
need your
just
approval.
mess around here, I guess.
You can go check them in the office.
I know the lighting's a little rough on my face. I'm really bright. Apologies. That was my first one. I should say my first real one. So I know there's some few things I'm going to have to figure out, and that is obviously getting the brightness toned down. Yep. Okay. Okay, let's see. I just logged into my Sork, who's... Let's take a look. 1070? 1070? So, about the end of Tier 2. Let's see. We'll go to Management. Yay, stuff is completed. Wait. Before we do this, I'm gonna make sure I don't have a quest. This is an easy way to cheese the quest. If you did a research like the night before you went to sleep or something, and the cycle comes back to do it again, either from the little dude down there or this chick, you instantly pick it up. Obviously, I don't have it today. And then you go to, where was I? Management, rip. And then you'll go to, you just hit like a complete research, and bam, the quest is instantly done. So GG. So anyway, I just hit lab level 3, and what I'm trying to do here is, I know it's going to be too late, just like they did for Tier 2, I mean for Tier 1, which I can't show you. Oh, I guess I can. Let's go to Acquired. That way I can show you before I run my mouth about it. Here we go. Cost reduction. Wait a minute. This ain't it. Hold on. I'm going to find it. That is one of them, but not what I'm talking about. Where is it? Here we go. Roster help. Okay, so increase Tier 1 honing success, but by the time you're able to research this, you're past it, right? So, and it does, what does it do? How much? By 20% from level 1 to 15. So, I'm going to show you what that means in a second. And that's just required XP. Required XP for 20%. Wow. That's also huge, too, for Tier 1. So it makes it a lot faster. Oh, hey, somebody's watching. Yay! Happy days. Okay, what's the comment? Oh, look, it's the grind. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, this is a grind easier. These two things I'm showing you right now. And as you can see, the little check mark means I did it already. But you had to get, like, I want to say, don't quote me, I think it was 802 item level on a character at first on your account to unlock this. Well, drum roll, 802 is unattainable in T1. Like, once you hit level 15 with all your gear in T1, then you go into T2, start at 600, and then move your way up the ladder. and then just like you did before, but you're maxing out. Well, it's not 600. I forgot exactly what it was. I just finished that level bracket. Anyway, you max out at 1100, which I'm 30 points away now in tier 2 from maxing that out. So the time that you get this for your main character, right, it's too late. You've already done it. Now, I'll get into why this is helpful a little bit later on. Anyway, oh, which system is this? Oh, the one that I just showed you? Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Right now, we're in the... Let me just get out. Let me exit that. We are currently in the quote-unquote, you could say, housing of the game, right? This is your instant stronghold. If you played World of Warcraft in... Oh, crap. What expansion was that? Legion? You remember they literally took the same name from it, called the Stronghold, and it's almost the exact same thing. You level it up, you build it up, it's instance. Other people can come visit, but it's not like Arcade where it's on the world or something, or even Final Fantasy 14 where you're in instance maps, but you have like, what, 30 houses, 40 houses or something like that in a map. Then you can jump over somebody's fence and go check their house out. Not here. You can only teleport to it, so it's completely instance. But I'm working on it, and the only parts I haven't unlocked so far are right here and right here. This is a farm, and then there's a cave, too, and I'll show you that. So this is kind of where you do all the crafting in the game. Instead of having like a crafting station in a city, you can do everything from here. Like, your crafting station's kind of personalized. At least that's the way I look at it. So but you do a bunch of different stuff here. Wow, a lot to explain. Jeez, okay, good question. What system is this? Because there's a lot. So let me go back to management. I can kind of zoom out, and you'll get, this is one of the cooler things in the game. I wish they would increase the view distance while you're playing the actual game. Maybe not this far. This is a little bit extreme, but a little further than I'll go back to the normal distance. Now, obviously, you don't see the problem here, but I'm going to show it to you when we get in combat. Anyway, on with the system. As you can see down here, these are all the little intricacies for everything you can do here, right? You got management, placement, wardrobe, view from far. That's all it does. You can bring up your sheet music. You can bring up your mount, ride that, and then trade skill swaps your action bar down here. So you can do trade skills in here, which are on the 2 islands and in the cave. Anyway, I'm going to go back to just the management mode. And then what that brings up is you have the lab, right? And this is where I showed you with the honing success things. This is where you research stuff for your roster, barbecue, right, to get grill skewers and stuff, food you can make and stuff like that. Then I go to, let's just go to available research. And then these are all the things I have still left to research right now. It's only tier 3, and level 3, and it goes up to level 5. So I don't even know what some of this stuff does, to be completely honest with you. Anyway, that's the lab. That's kind of where you do all your, you could say, main upgrades from. So then the next part is the workshop. And this is, like I was saying earlier, kind of the crafting area. This is where you can make just about all the stuff you're going to consume in the game. All your battle potions. And keep in mind that everything you make here is different from what you get as you level up in the leveling process. This is actually battle items. I know a lot of people probably haven't understood what that system is, and I'm going to show it to you when we jump into one of the Guardian raids. But it's a system where you can't use a lot of regular items in the game that you get through like quest rewards and stuff, and you could say easy stuff. They're battle items only in those battle areas, and everything you hear as you see says battle item. So that means anything under this tab I can use in a Guardian raid or something like that to gain my life back. You can't use regular potions. You can only use battle items. Anyway, there's all different kinds of stuff that makes you, it puts a shield around you for 15 seconds, something like that. Obviously, your health potions that you use in raids, you have to use battle items, and you're limited to a maximum of 5. You can only use a potion 5 times in there the entire time you're in it. If y'all leave and come back and the group falls apart, yeah, you have 5 chances again. But during that one time in there, you can only use them 5 times. You're limited. So it makes healing, self-healing, extremely important in you to be able to dodge danger. But I'm getting, I guess, a little bit ahead of myself with that. So then you got your structures, where you can build, stuff to place around the island. Tools, this is how you make different things for to do all your professions and your gathering. You're gathering on your island and outside in the real world. Special stuff to help crafting materials. and then more battle item stuff. Now, these are selection chests, which you can usually sell these. Some versions you can, some you can't. Some of the potions you can sell, some you can't. So it's kind of, some is wishy-washy. I don't have any of the, I don't think I have any of the unbound potion selection chests, because all these, as you can see, it says bound to roster when you pick it up. But this just gives you a selection of one of these things instead of making it. But with these, most of these you can sell them right away. Like this HP potion, I can make it, craft it in 9 minutes. I'll be able to go to the auction house and sell it to other players. Yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much the workshop in a nutshell. As you level it up, you can start researching multiple things at a time. The station, this is extremely important because this is where... Oh, you know what? Let me stop talking for a second. How is my voice compared to the game sound? I know there's not a lot of music because it tones it down when I'm in the screen, but am I overpowering for the music, or does everything sound okay? Oh, how early do you access the stronghold? Yeah, well, I'm showing you some things later on. I've unlocked quite a few stuff. You actually get access to it pretty early on in the game. And if I would have paid more attention to it, you would have seen, I would have been a little further along than I am now if I would have paid a little more attention to it. But they kind of do a really poor job at explaining exactly how important the whole thing is. So you learn after tier 1 that, hey, some of the stuff I'm going to start needing to craft, oh, you make it in your stronghold. Oh, heard that. Well, I'm like level 3 stronghold, you know, and you're already at gear score 800-900, 1,000, you know, for some people probably to get to the end of tier 2, probably into tier 3. You can, depending on what you do, you can kind of skip some of this stuff, but it helps out so freaking much. You know, it's really nice to have. And of course, it's all... Oh, audio balance is fine. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and select this right here. This is the one of the ships. I'm sorry, not one of the ships. Listen to me. This is one of the missions that you do in the dispatch station. So you send NPCs out to do stuff for you. You don't actually do anything, but I just got 104% on that one, so that was sexy. So I got a nice little reward on that. So I'm going to come back here and set these up later when I know that the reset happened, which I think it already did, but I want to make sure. But doing these is one of the major ways of getting stronghold experience. Down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see it on my screen overlay, but the stronghold level experience bar is down here, and it's slower than your character is, but you also move this along a lot slower. As you can see, time left, 8 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, 4 hours. That's like the shortest time you can send them out. So this is going to take 4 hours for them to finish, or up to a day. Now, I'm probably going to send them on a one like you just saw. In fact, let me just go ahead and send them on one if I can find one. That's going to give me 100% chance like that last one. Because I'm trying to get the most from my materials, and because I upgraded this faster than I should have, I didn't get good sailors, so as you can see, I have no... I'm going to do this 89, because 89 is pretty legit. 89%, I'm rolling the dice on that, you know what I mean? So we're just going to hit mission start. Oh, wait a minute, let me repair. Oh, I got to use that. Rip. It's okay. Yeah, they give you a choice to repair your ship. Do you want to use materials from the outside world, or do you want to use materials from inside here? Which is kind of weird. I wish they would just make a one system. Like, I don't really honestly think you need to have a stronghold material set and an outside world material set. I'll show you that in a second. Let me get out of this. You're probably like, Nani? So I'm going to go to my regular inventory. So here is foraging, okay? This is a wildflower. This is what you get normally playing the game. And it's the white version. Here's the white version. Simple flower petal, but as you can see, there's this little house icon in the bottom right. That means it's the same thing this is, but for your house, right? For your stronghold. So it's kind of weird because it again detaches you from a very linear world. I think a lot of people would agree with what we have released right now in NA is a very linear world in most places. There's a few islands I've run across that are actively open in the sense where even Albion Online open. Most of them you'll see. In fact, what you're seeing now, this is one of the most open areas in the game, your stronghold, which is kind of sucks on that part. But you do get to experience some different things later on. Anyway, like that change kind of the view aspect, I mean. So we've kind of gone through everything on the island. I'm just going to run here real quick to this right here. It's a little teleport you unlock when you unlock this crap instead of having taken the love boat for like 5 minutes. And as you can see, I'm going to just go ahead and grab this. This is how you gather and stuff throughout the game. Here on my mini map, you see in the top right, you can see the topaz, the pink mushrooms, and you can see the tree flowers. So it lets you know what's in the area. But being that, let's see, it is a redundant, perhaps a silly system to prevent players from hoarding materials for the game world to where they wouldn't do normal gathering crafting. You're right. Well, it's kind of redundant because I'm going to show you here. I'm glad you brought that up. See this little thing? Oh, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. Let me take my mouse. And yes, this is a neon cursor that I'm using because it makes it so much easier to see. The normal one, I'll lose it. So down here at the bottom where it's got 99 of 10,000, 9,900, I'm going to go to this tree and I'm going to start chopping at it. Now when this does finish, this bar is going to go to like 97 or 96. I forget exactly how much it takes for chopping down a tree. So 98 for the first half, and then 97 for the second half. So it takes 200, right? Now, this is account-wide. Doesn't matter what tune I'm on, this is account-wide. If I press L, it brings up the trade skill menu. This is, everything you see on this screen is also account-wide. These equipments I have equipped is not equipped on this character. It's equipped on my account, right? So everything, doesn't matter what character I'm playing on. I can be on a level 1, level 10 technically character, and have level 15, level 13, level stuff, whatever, because it's account-wide. I do like that part of the system. I do like the fact that, again, there we go, I pointed at the screen. I do, again, like the fact that that is account-wide. I like that if I'm on an alt and I see a good node, I can get it, you know, and shift it off to my main or use it in the stronghold because all the stuff is bound to roster at least, and all your accounts, all your characters can use it on the same account. Here's where, like you just said, about the redundancy, 9,700, right? Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. That 97 of 10,000, I'm not going to leave the Stronghold tour just finished. That's not just for your Stronghold. It's also for the Stronghold, and it's for the outside world. So you have to actively make a choice what you want to farm. What do you want to make? Do you want to make potions you can sell? Or do you want to make potions you can use that are bound and a little bit cheaper? But they're cheaper in the sense that you're using these materials instead of other materials. House items can usually only be made with house materials. So if you want to build your house, you have to dedicate the majority of your energy resources to in-house, doing what I'm doing now. You could say stronghold inside your stronghold cultivation. Whereas if you want to build other stuff and some of the other consumables, you have to use out of stronghold materials, and the only way you can make them is with out of stronghold materials. So you have to use and decide what do at this 10,000 do I want to use it on. Now, does that get relieved as you level up? Yeah, you start to reduce some things and you get higher experience rates and stuff like that. You get more stuff. So whatever. But at the beginning, it's painful, and I'm assuming at the end, at very end game crafting, it's also going to be extremely painful because the amount of materials you're going to need are going to skyrocket. You'll notice that when we get into the grind section. Right, yeah, and it does separate, again, from a game that already suffers from not having the true MMO sense of an open world. Now you're detaching the gathering from the open world too, and bringing that into an instant zone. So it's like, damn it. I'm glad you brought that up. It's actually a very good point. Okay, let's go to, do you have any other questions, maybe, about the housing system before we dip out of here? I didn't touch on one thing, actually. I apologize. Let me go back into the management mode. We didn't talk about the manor, which is just kind of some account-wide effects that you can activate. It's like achievements you get later on throughout the game. And, hell, I don't even know where this came from. I think they gave this to us in that package, right? And then, as you can, this is the 4 things I have left, big areas on the island to unlock. But the manor really doesn't do much other than you set above here, you click this, you turn this on, watch, you hit that, equip effect. Oh, I can't do it for another hour? Dude. Well, whatever. All right, so you guys, we all just learned not to do that. Don't do that just to show somebody because it puts it on an hour cooldown. But check this out. Let's go to Equip Effect. Look what it cost me. 100. See these shiny things? Guess where you get those shiny things from? You absolutely guessed it. The cash shop. Now, do they give you some of these for playing the game? Yeah, very few and far in between. So I would totally... Dude, spending 100 of these, let me tell you how ridiculous this is. Spending 100 of these to switch a buff for because they put an hour to cooldown on it. Check this out. Let's get out and let's go to the store. Boy, I can't believe I'm going to the store this early in the stream. Okay. 30 days of their premium subscription-based model is 420 of these. Alright, I have 500 right now. That's what I've got just for playing the game free. Haven't spent a single dime on this game yet. Not a single dime. And I'm almost in Tier 3, and they gave me enough of these so far to get one 30-day Crystalline Aura Pack. So what I'm trying to explain is that thing that I just showed you cost 100 for 1 hour's worth of convenience. Whereas 30-day Crystalline Aura, their subscription base, is 500. So... if that isn't a red flag for how... God, we really can't use the word pay to win anymore, can we? Because it's so... the term has become so mutated. Let's just say extreme convenience, right? It's maddening in this game. Now, I haven't messed with it. If any of y'all have played Blade and Soul, you remember how Blade and Soul's cash shop did a Marnie's... it was more like a... What was Blade and Soul? Let me use Aeon, because they had the Nyurk Nyurk secret cash shop, right? It even was called the secret cash shop at one point. That's hilarious. But it changes every 6 hours in real time in the game, and you can spin these crystals. Or you just get the obvious orange currency, which you buy now, and then you convert it to these crystals, or keep it in these crystals for only certain items. Certain items you can only get with real crystals. Certain items you can only get with fake crystals. Certain items you have to turn the real crystals into fake crystals to get the items with the fake crystals. Purposely designed so you lose track of how much money you're spending. Anyway, let me get out of that system. I'm sorry. I rambled on for a little bit longer than I should have on that point. It seems the second purpose for these base management systems is just to add the mobile game money timers, just like that timer cost. Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Usually, a timer cost like that can be bypassed in what genre normally? Right, the mobile genre. And for I don't understand why, because it's a game that you mostly AFK for anyway. So why would you want to pay money to speed up time that you won't be around to see the sped up happen in the first place? Kind of silly. Whatever. I know not everything's like that, but I guess that's kind of how more of it is than not. Anyway, mobile game money timer, right? It's not. I think it's not about. It is about that. You're right. But another thing is too. Look at how much time it just took for me to explain that, right? And you're like, well, if it took him that much time to explain it, and I explained it extremely fast and didn't really do a thorough good job on it either. So, but what does that tell you? That's filler. That's fluff. Why does all that exist I've, again, 1070. I'm not at tier 3 yet, but I'm 30 points away from it. And I haven't spent a single dime on the game yet. I've been playing for, about 3 weeks now, I guess? And would have gotten some of this crap now that I even know what it is going into tier 3. Most of this stuff is. Could it help you out? Abso-freaking-lutely. You know, would it speed up the process? Of course it would. You know, but do you have to do that? No. And I'm going to show you why. Let's go ahead. Yeah, and that timer cost. But I think the point I was going back to, other than, like you said, the mobile game mechanic, because there's a lot in this game. Don't get that wrong. You're going to have this weird system where it's going to be, again, menu. I call it menu, like menu scrolling or menu basic, something like that, where you're going to be in menus a lot. Okay, any of y'all maybe have played StarCraft 2 or used the Blizzard launcher before. You've seen that in the Blizzard launcher, there's, if you're not playing one of the games, there's like a little thing on the side, and it shows you your friends list and like who's doing what. Like, are they playing StarCraft 2? Are they playing Diablo? Are they playing World of Warcraft, Burning Crusade, original, whatever. Or when you're in StarCraft 2 and you're not doing anything, it actually used to say in menus. That was your label of how you are right now. You're in menus. And they're like, okay, so they took that. I know I'm being long-winded to make I guess a joke that's only funny to me, but the in menu thing, I was just like, wow, they've turned that into an actual mechanic of the game of being in a menu. Not because you're AFK and you went to the bathroom to go take a crap or something, and the menu is the only safe place for you. But now it's like, we want you to actively be active in the menus. Well, hold on, dude. You guys will see in a second, in a few minutes or whatever, when I finish and we go to Chaos Dungeons. You got a lot here that doesn't need to keep me in your menu. There's no reason for this. Some of it. Too much, I understand. That one thing I will say about the crafting system, since I'm talking so much shit about it, is that you see it. This is my inventory. All right, you have your own personal inventory for your character. You have a pet inventory, which if you activate the 30-day premium, you get to do that, and you get to also open your inventory anywhere on any character, wherever you're standing, and swap stuff out with that in the roster inventory. So it's incredibly convenient. I haven't gotten to use it yet because I haven't got the crystalline ore yet. So, anyway, so that's the pet menu. Sorry, and then you have the storage menu. Now, they took a book from like maybe Elder Scrolls where you have a different complete inventory for all your materials. How Elder Scrolls likes to lock it behind that $15 subscription, or 14, whatever it is now. Anyway, this is like an unlimited material bag. So I do like that. You can put all your rapport materials, which increases your reputation levels with NPCs. You can put all that in here. All your sailing materials that you ever get, you can stash that all in here. All your stronghold stuff. Look, currencies from your other seals that normally take up spots in other game, they're like, no, we're going to let you put that in a separate tab. So that's kind of nice. And as you can see, these have some little timers on it. So that means that I need to spend them before they go away. But anyway, so I do give them that. There are some good things about the crafting system like that. I think we're at a level now where crafting bags to continuously hold materials and a gear set. I don't know how many of y'all played old World of Warcraft, but I always go back to the Druid from Burning Crusade. Perfect example. If you played a Druid, played it, you had at least 6 sets of gear. You had a PvE version of all 3 specs, and you had a PvP version of all 3 specs. So you needed, 40 or 50 item slots just to keep your gear on you, so you didn't have to go back to town and swap out depending on what the situation was. Let's see. I'm sorry, I didn't see the comment, bud. Good inventory systems can go a long way for quality of life. Oh no, absolutely. With the things that have changed now because of all the just simply the technology for the video games that we've been able to, Unreal 5, man, that thing is absolutely amazing. The games, as long as competent people are behind that, anyone coming out with Unreal 5, those new games, I think that's going to bring it. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I think it's going to be really good. But the point is, the quality of life, some of those things, you just, it's kind of aggravating at that point where you have to constantly switch gear, and you have to keep getting a gear set and chasing different gear sets for different specs. Sword of Legends Solo, I don't know if many of you guys played that. They had a system where, and it wasn't exactly like what I'm saying, but it was so close that you honestly didn't need to get the other name gear set. When you swapped from one spec to the other in that game, and I say that game, the game's still online. It's actually doing really well right now. If any of you guys are interested, once it went free to play, the numbers did go up. It's just, a lot of things are kind of generic. In fact, Josh Strife Hayes made a video about it I saw today, and it was kind of funny. I'm like, damn it, Josh, you didn't play in game, but what he's saying is relevant to your experience. He's pretty accurate in his depiction on the game and in the state that I guess that they released it in. So anyway, I'm getting on a little tangent there. I'm sorry. But going back to the quality of life thing, I think we're at a time now where you need to respect people's times more, especially your player base. We're a little bit older. We don't have time to go to town for 30 minutes just to drop off 100 herbs that only stack to stacks of 20 or 5. Are you kidding me? Please, just do something. That shouldn't be the filler for my content now, going back and forth to town. Getting back to what I was saying about Unreal 5, we have so many ways to bring in content now that stuff like that or being in menus, I think is a little, we don't need to do that anymore. I don't think that, can it work in some things? Yeah, like battle royales. I mean, that's kind of the only downtime you got, right? You know, maybe even StarCraft too, but I think the quality of life, and I'm assuming that Aiden is an MMO player, because I mean, you're making some pretty good points. So yeah, I think you would understand that, especially about inventory. Whenever, let's say you're trying to craft that legendary item, and you need to get a lot of stuff. I do appreciate games that make tier 1, let's say there's 5 tiers of resources in the game, right? I do appreciate games that make tiers 1 through 4 still, like Black Desert. I'll use Black Desert as a good example. You can, all the materials that you ever get are always relevant. From the moment you pick it up, they always become relevant in some way. You can use those tier 1 materials to craft not as many tier 5 or tier 6 materials, but you can use it, and in some cases you're forced to. You're forced to use tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 to go up to those levels. So I think that does add to, let's say I'm level 50, level 60. I don't really want to go back to a level 10 or level 15 zone. I don't think anybody really does, because you're one-shot mobs. There's nothing worthwhile for you there unless they make it worthwhile. The game devs do something to make it worthwhile for you. So I think, anyway, I'm rambling on. Let's get some action on the screen while I'm talking about that. But the quality of life thing, I think in some games, especially Lost Ark, I was saying some crap about that earlier, but there actually is a humongous form of content here. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, trick, if any of you guys play, if you're on your island, you hit Song of Escape, and you're gonna, when you come back to your island later, when you play the song, you're gonna appear right where you play the Song of Escape was. So you can be right next to wherever you want to be. If I just learned that the other day, so if anybody was curious. So anyway, now we're back in the original world. That was a very long explanation, I guess, about the stronghold. And again, I kind of only briefed over it for you. I didn't even show you the cave. Oh wow, we got a little audience now. Oh my, 25. Let's go. All right. Okay. So what did I say I was gonna do next? The Chaos Dungeon. Right, because I was talking all that crap about being in menus. Let's go show you one of the better parts of the stuff here. Let me just get right to it, man. Alright, so I'm in Phaeton right now. This is the tier 2.5 zone, whatever, I guess you can say. The one before you go to 1100 zone. And it's kind of weird. I'm going to show you guys this. In fact, right when before I queue up for the dungeon. I find this to be one of the extreme downsides of the game right now. Alright, check this out. 1 tab, 2 tabs, 3 tabs, 4 tabs, 5 tabs. Let's just do 4. Let's not go to this one because there's so many here. Let's just do the first 4. In these first 4 tabs, each tab has 4 sub-tabs, right? So 4 times 4, I'm not a math genius or anything, but I think it's like 16. And each one, let's start at the beginning, right? You start out doing these at 250. The next gear score is 340. The next one's 380. The next one's 420. The next one's 460. 500. 540, 580. Let's go to tier 3. 600s, 840. Oh, wow, it's a big jump from those two. 880, but I think you guys understand my point, how it's kind of weird. 840, 820. Now imagine if you're trying to play this with your friends. You skip 1 or 2 days, they've already jumped 40, 50 levels. They're not coming, I'm not coming from, you know, tier 4, 1080, which I can't do yet. I can only do tier 3. Especially that I can't go there yet. I'm definitely not coming down to North Bern and doing this and get this. Even though you're my friend, it's going to hurt me because it's going to hit my aura of resonance, which is my own personal gain of how much I'm going to gain when I do this. See, I got 100 out of 50. That means every run takes 50. So for 2 runs, you can basically say every day, you get extra rewards or rewards in the first place. You'll see what I mean if we do 3. If we do 3 in a row. They're very quick. They only last about 4 minutes. Less if you have a high DPS group. Anyway, my point still stays the same. You lose out on this Aura of Resonance even if you go help a friend, if you go down a tier. Now, if your friend, let's say I'm on Shadow, 3, and you're doing Shadow 2. not a huge loss for me, because I still get the same rewards you get. Now, when you get to tier 3, this is where playing with your friends, or trying to play with your friends, gets extremely punishing. Because now the gear levels... Look, check this out. You go from 1100 to 1310, 1325, 1340, 1355. Look how small these increments are. That's because it's extremely damning to roll these items. Oh, we're going to get to that in a little bit. I have to show you guys the honing process, right? A lot of people have complained about it. And to be honest, it could be a lot worse, right? It could be a lot worse. It could be pre Black Desert Remastered. You know, everything shatters. You know, it could be that. It could be Arc Age, pre-Unchained, everything shatters. It could be, well, Aeon, I don't even know if you actually actively play Aeon anymore. I think it's just autoplay. I think it actually auto-logs you into the game. It's crazy. Anyway, don't get me started on NC Soft. Okay, so I'm sorry. I kind of explained the gap about one of the things I don't like about the gear score system, how it does. For being an MMO, right, it really kind of singles you out. Like, if you're not even close to my gear score, in certain situations, in fact, once you get to tier 3, you have to do some of these end ones, or you can't even get this Honor Leap Stone. You see that? It's not until the end of tier 3 where they bring in, hey man, there's a great Honor Leap Stone, a mechanic that we didn't introduce in tier 1 and tier 2. In tier 1 and tier 2, you only had the regular Life Leap Stone. You didn't have a honorable Life Leap Stone or a magnificent Life Leap Stone. You didn't have that in tier 1 and 2. You added a third mechanic here in tier 3 to set people even further apart. Now, if that was your way of doing, from separating the people who are raid ready for the ones who aren't, it's a horrible way about going to do that. You do that in the raid. You don't do that with people's gear. You let the raid check them and let them know their gear's not right. You don't, because you can get to this gear level, guys. That's one of the things too. You'll notice, even at some of these higher tier 3s, your groups do get a little bit noticeably better. But sometimes you'll still have this group and they're like, man, how did that? Now, it could be bots too. Don't get me wrong. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it's like, how did you get this far, you know, in tier 3? Because there's a good bit of solo content that you have to do through the main story quest. But in all honesty, everything's pretty face roll. So I guess if you haven't done, you know, maybe one of the 2 Guardian raids, and look, some of them get a little tricky. Anyway, I keep talking. Let's just get into some action. Let's go to, I can only do this one. I can't do this one yet. Hopefully, after we get out, I can try and do some rolling, and we'll see. So I'm going to do matchmaking because it's auto, and it's, you know, you get to play with people, right? Not with friends, I guess. I don't have any friends on this game. I'm in a guild, but it's pretty inactive, to be honest with you. So hopefully, I started really late, and all the servers were taken up. So I chose one that I guess ended up filling with bots. Now, my guild's not, but there's just not too many people who are too sociable, so... Anyway, let's get it in. So this is the Chaos Dungeon, and you literally are just gonna... This is one of the funner parts of the game, like I said. You're just smoking stuff. You're just killing enemies. That's it. You're not doing anything else, and it's a whole bunch of them, and they just keep coming in waves, and you do it for, you know, a few minutes, however long it lasts. Oh yeah, so... I'm gonna go Super Saiyan mode here in a second. I wasn't paying attention to my bar. I was paying attention to the stream, but I'm just gonna wait. Nah, let's do it. And then just one punch everything for like 1,000,000 damage on the crits. That's crazy. The sorceress is absolutely broken when you go into crazy mode. I mean, it's like she is the hardest hitting single target and AoE damage in the game if you're Ignite spec and you're doing the rotation even minutely correct. You're doing massive damage. Oh, what's this? What did it say? Don't do matchmaking when I got most people grinding the points to finish as fast as possible. Yeah, well, I know there's some things. There was, in fact, I watched a video last night, and I'm like, no, people are leaving in the Chaos Dungeons. And I'm like, I understand it, right, from an efficiency standpoint. Like, I know the reasoning behind it. But I'm like,
in the same breath, I'm like, well, don't you think we could fix the way it works as a game? If people are leaving the content before they finish the tier 3 content because it actually gives them more rewards, you know, even in the solo version. Now, I don't know if that works solo. I didn't watch I'm not too sure how that is. But it just kind of threw me for a loop. Like, why would you not want to finish the content? You know, because the rewards are actually better if you don't. That's kind of crazy from killing these guys right here. These elite bosses on this stage. And I'm like, I get it, but man, don't you think the ending rewards should be like optimal, you know? Now here's a question. I got a question. ISXR. What about the cube? Does that multiplier happen too on that, or is that better off being done alone? Oh man, I need to pay attention. I gotta hit stuff, sorry. At least a little attention. Screw that. I tell you what, she is fun. She's fun. She's cracking. It's a fun class. Go, go, go. Click the button, let's go. I mean, I'll take the loot, but I guess you get more loot if you kill everything? Oh, look, that guy just left. He did on live stream what I was just talking about. He doesn't want to finish the 3rd stage. That's crazy. And I guess it does work on tier 3 too. I mean tier 2. I think it works on every tier you're doing. Tier 1 or tier 2 or 3. You can do that and just leave. That's crazy. So you guys just got to see on live stream what I was talking about. That's nuts, huh? Oh, I see what you're saying. It's why you do solo. Okay. Yeah, well, I didn't, you know, I kind of got some of that from the video. You know, I just thought that it was kind of a weird way for the gamers to, you know, the players to have to tackle the problem. You know, I keep looking at the screen when I'm sorry, the thing's up there. So I think that, yeah, maybe they could do something with that if they change that. But I know we're getting some more content. There was a roadmap that they released. So honestly, I'm not really too sure how most of this stuff is going to be relevant. And speaking of relevancy, it's kind of weird to introduce tier 1, tier 2, and then drop tier 3 like that and just make everything kind of irrelevant instantly. I mean, I get it from a teaching standpoint, so you can get used to the system, you know, but why, like, people mostly run these after you do the daily R. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my first time ever seeing somebody do that in a tier 2 dungeon. I mean, a tier 2 chaos one. Oh, I did bad. I wasn't even paying attention. That's okay. Yeah, so it's kind of, you know, it's not as social as you would like it to be. Obviously, you just kill with random folks and you just get slapped in. Yeah, you can do all that with friends, but, I mean, again, no friends. Oh, sad face. Yeah, so, oh, wow, that's a weird pop-in. I've had some weird pop-ins with the game, almost some BDO pop-ins sometimes. I mean, I am streaming right now, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. Anyway, so that was the Chaos Dungeon. So aside from, you know, some of the silliness of it, as you saw, that was really fun. Like, you really get to go in there and just go ham. And, I mean, you can do them solo. I'm probably going to use the other one after. And then maybe I'll do another one by myself. So the next part is like the Abyssal Dungeons. Now, this is another thing that you can queue up for, or you can get a party together. You know, same thing with the guild. And it's kind of like mini sections of a raid. So what I'm hoping they do is, like Gates of Paradise, for instance. These 3 right here, they're 3 different instances, right? You can say dungeons, right? You do them, and when you finish, you go out, you get your rewards, you know, maps change, you go back to wherever you were, all that. What I would like to see them do is like, and Gates of Paradise is actually really fun. It's a fun little raid if you do all 3 of these back to back. But if maybe they had expanded a little bit to just make it an actual raid. Now, I don't know if that's what they mean by the ones that are coming out with this big content patch next month. I'm not sure if it's going to be something like this, but if like they took this like Sea of Indolence, the Tranquil Carcosa, and the Alaric Sanctuary, and put those three together in one, and just had it one long experience with like 9 bosses, with like a raid timer, you know, that like a week's timer or something like that for the entry group, I think that could be really cool too. Because every once in a while you get a group where some of the mechanics can be kind of a pain, but regardless from that, I think it would be, because I was kind of nervous how they were going to do the raiding experience in a top-down isometric when you truly don't have a class that can press a button that heals every 1 or 2 seconds to a direct target. In that sense, like even Albion Online, you do have the ability in Albion Online to, you can be a full-blown healer. You can be a single-target healer. You can be an AoE healer. You can kind of be a mixture. You can even be a shielder, but when you shield, you can't do the heal because of arcane stats. But regardless, and the Bard here in Lost Ark is the closest you're going to have to someone who can support in the sense of, if any of you guys ever played Rift, you might remember the, what the hell was it? Oh, the Bard, that was what it was called. The Bard class for the Rogue. It was one of their subset souls, or one of the souls, I'm sorry, just one of the main souls. And if you main that soul, you were a pretty solid support class. Like, you did movement speed for the group, you gave attack damage, magic damage, you gave critical strike rating for the group, you gave damage reduction for the group, you can give temporary like shields and stuff like that, and you also did a good little bit of damage. Oh, hey, Technica, how you doing? Yeah, I figured I'd try a live stream. I was, you know, hoping people would just... I was not asking anything about Lost Ark, but I just wanted to give everybody something to, you know, because I don't know everything. In fact, Iskar's kind of schooling me on some of the stuff. But, you know, just in general, you know, about the MMO scene, what are you guys... You know, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to kind of get a feel from you guys about what are y'all feeling next, or is there anything right now that you're kind of feeling? I know we have a few things coming up in this next few months here that I wish I was big enough to get some of that insider information and make a video, but I mean, other than like Bellasaurus and just saying some of the names, I don't have any of that footage. You know, I'm not in the cool kids club for that. But regardless, I think there could be some cool things coming up here soon. You know, Lost Ark actually is a breath of fresh air, in the sense where, again, I'll go back to like older, like say before BDO Remastered, when everything could break, or, you know, breaking Aeon, breaking Arcage. Yeah, you still have a weird RNG scenario here for enhancing, but in fact, fuck that shit. Let's go do it. Let's go. I keep talking about it. Let's go. Okay, what is are there any unreleased classes that might help the balance they would release with the raid content? As far as like a support class or like a healer, that I don't know. We have a Lancer class, and I'm using that. I'm sorry, I don't know what the name of it's called. We have like a Lancer class that's going to be coming. In fact, I'm looking forward to that one. She should be releasing with this next content patch. I've always like double-bladed like Lance classes like the Dragoon on Final Fantasy XIV. I wish you could jump every like 10 to 15 seconds. They really killed Dragoon on that, but we're not going to talk about that. But classes like that have a little extra range maybe. The Spears in Albion are a really good weapon, you know. I like using that. Anyway, but I think it's going to be a fun class. So there's that one. There's going to be the Destroyer, which is going to use a huge maul. I think that's the official name we're going to get. In fact, the Sorceress, the class that I'm on, she was not with the original KR release. We got that as like a special bonus or something for NA. I mean, I'm using that term loosely. It's probably a development decision that just made it a little bit easier. Lance Master. Okay, I'm glad. Yeah, I've been very busy. Takina, just trying to get things, you know. I had the hurricane kind of messed a lot of stuff up. I don't know if you got to watch that video, but my whole rig got messed up. So fast forward now, I got a 3080. That's what I'm using right now. So nice upgrade, right? That's one of the reasons Lost Ark is. I mean, the game, I have to say, it looks great. It looks great. The visual effects team Oh man, these guys did a hell of a job. They did a really good job. Like the sound effect team too. When those lightning bolts hit, like I'll do a solo thing so you guys can see a less chaos gate, if that makes any sense. And you'll be able to get to see a little bit more. Oh, look at all this crap. All right, so what do y'all want to see me try and roll? Okay, well I can't roll the weapon because I need so many of these destruction stones, and I haven't farmed anything. But here's going back to what I was saying. Why give me this? Why give me legendary stuff at tier 1 and tier 2 when I'm going to replace it? I'm one of the few people that you see running around with this stuff. Most people just have the blue stuff for tier 1 and tier 2 because there's no point, you know? But I'm just like, you know what? I like orange, you know, legendary gear, so why not, right? And they give you some of the stuff as you go through it. So I guess whatever, right? So I'll tell you what. Let's go with one of these 13 pieces. And as you can see, it starts to cost you gold here. We'll get into gold in a minute. Let's just go with a fresh upgrade. All right, I'm going to max it out. It's going to cost me 7,500 life shards out of 13,000. So that's a lot now. The materials begin to add up. Now, some people will be like, well, Lucy, you can only fail 3 times and then you're guaranteed a success. That's correct. Artisan energy, 0.0%. You'll fail and that'll build up. You can play it on mobile too, if that's kind of convenient. I don't know. Albion is mobile, for sure. This, God, I don't see how you could play this on mobile. I just don't see. I don't see how there's, especially the open sea. You guys will see that. I don't see how a cell phone would be able to play that open sea. It's so much texture packages. There's only one loading screen from what I can tell across the entire ocean. One loading screen, and it's for like 2 seconds. Anyway, so let's go ahead and jump. I'll get back to the mobile thing because there's a lot of. In fact, Takini, if you would go further up in the chat at the beginning, you can, or I guess go back in the live stream about 20 minutes. You'll see where one of the viewers asked, and I was talking about a lot of the mobile game systems are in here, like this right here. Look at all the shiny crap, right? Isn't this a bunch of nonsense? So anyway, nothing. Let's go. I just spent half of my things to get it. Here we go. I'm going from level 13 to level 14. Now, you Arc-Age players, you BDO players, I already know. You Blade and Soul players, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, 50%? Dude, hit that button. 50% is great. Can you imagine trying to roll legendary, like a legendary, even a legendary sale, like 5 years ago? Was like, what, 10% chance? And if you blew it up, that was like 15,000 gold. That was a tier 1 divine set of, what was it, obsidian gear back then? I'm getting way off a topic. But anyway, 50% to me, I'm like, yeah, let's roll that. But these numbers are extremely misleading. So I'll leave it up to you guys in chat. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to try to advance a little bit, a few percentages, or just hit the button and see what, if, I mean, 1 or 2 chance. That's it. It can only be, it's either gonna, you know, straight down the middle, 1 out of 2, 50%. I'm thinking of using some materials, but you know, we'll see. What do you guys want to do? You want me to just hit it? Should I just hit it? Oh, screw it. Let's just hit it. Rip. Rip. Alright, so that's good that it failed. I'll get to show you guys this. So, it failed, yada, yada, yada. Now you have a high chance the next time you hone, right? So, all those other games, right, it's 50-50. Oh, you rolled 3 times. Well, I can't. Here's the thing why I should have probably tried to use some of those free honing materials they get me through doing quests. That one chance, granted, it didn't break. I can't break anything. I can't lose the gear. And after 3 rolls, yeah, I know, when 14 plus, you're right. And I usually do use them for 14 plus. In fact, I should have used them on tier 1 because I have tier 1 materials now that I didn't use. And you can only use, in fact, let me go to another one. Oh, I can't even bring that screen up. I have some in my bank, but you can't even use those books on a tier 1. You can't go back. So if you don't use it, you lose it in a sense. Now, you can use it for an alt, but as you'll see when I hop to my paladin, with that extra 20% you get from your stronghold, his failure rate only starts at level 13. So you have a 100% chance on your alt in tier 1 from 0 to 13. You never have to worry about wasting materials. Now you're like, well, yeah, you showed me the artisan energy, 23.25%. All right, so the next time I fail, it's going to jump up a little bit more. Once this gets to 100, you're guaranteed a success. No matter what, you're guaranteed. However, you fail 4 times, I could only click one item once, and this was armor. Guardian stones are much easier to get than destruction stones are, obviously, because you have 5 versus 1. But once you start going for that plus 15, like he was saying in chat, or going for the, you're at, 14, going for the 15, these guardian stones and stuff is going to start getting very high. And that 4 failed attempts, plus the 5th successful attempt, I mean, that was 1 piece of gear. Now, you got to do this a whole bunch of more times. So that's where the time gate comes in, and getting back to the UI filler, and when I was talking about kind of in menus, you can spend a lot of time in menus. Again, some of maybe you Arcade guys, right, and you can make multiple alts and funnel all that stuff too, but see, again, making multiple alts for, some of us throughout the day, that's extremely hard to keep that going. Oh, well, I kind of said some of that stuff technically. Don't worry about it. I know you can ask any question too, guys. Feel free to interrupt me at any time. I know I'm running my mouth. Give me a second. I need a sip of this drink. Oh, look, somebody in the area chat. Oh, I know you guys can't see that because my face is in front of it. But they're asking, excuse me, at tier 2, how many upgrades worth of materials can I earn per day? Now, if you would ask me about tier 1, I could have gave you a solid answer. They overwhelm you with tier 1 materials. They completely overwhelm you with tier 1 stuff. In fact, if you do Iskar, you can probably know if you do like the first 2 or 3 islands when you leave Lutera at first, they probably give you enough tier 1 materials right there in those 2 or 3 islands to completely tier 1 a character and have some left over. Not to mention, I'll show you that right now, this little welcome challenge up here. You can see it. Now, I've got quite a good bit of it completed, but they give you a bunch of one-time account materials for some of this stuff. So, they really help you out on that first character. But, watch, I'll go to my, let's go to my storage, and I'll show you my paladin, too. I'll swap over. Some of the stuff, again, I didn't know this, and I wish there was something... that I could do with these destruction stones. Now, these things right here are all tier 1 materials that are completely bound to me for, life. There's nothing I can do with this on this character. I mean, I can destroy all of her gear and start from tier 1 again, if I really feel that desperate for, to hit myself in the face. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. And then you have the roster storage, where you're able to put most of the stuff, but not the things you would truly like to help your, alt character out with these extra things. Now, is there something, does anybody know in chat if there's something you can do with these old tier 1 bound materials? Oh, let's see, what did Aiden say? Is the general chat as silly and toxic as most MMOs? Ha! I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go to chat. Wow, it's kind of crazy that nothing happened. Where are they? And I'm in... Oh, you know what? It's because of where I am. There's not going to be too many bots that are here in Fate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just say it like that, but it's true. Yeah, and they're not... Right, because they only use area chat. So, in area, these are actually really people talking. To get back to your point, I don't think there's enough players to be able to talk in most normal places of chat. Oh, here's a perfect example. Like, if you play Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn, you can't do that in chat. And if you do, it's only going to last for a few minutes, and then that chat's going to be shut down. You'll be shadow muted and won't even realize it. You'll be talking and thinking you're talking in area chat on Final Fantasy XIV, and only you are going to be fooled by it. Nobody else is going to see it. Your World of Warcraft does the same thing. All those really, companies that actually give some kind of a shits about their player base, they can shadow mute you in the game. It's pretty simple. It's easy code. Anyway, I don't think you get a chance to be toxic yet in this game because they're still going through the bot waves and the bot bans. Again, because it's a free-to-play game, you're going to have just tons and tons. Oh my god, y'all. When my leveling experience, when I first made this character, I was like, all you saw was just face roll keyboard names. That's all you saw. And look, I tell you what, these bots on this game, going back to Technica's what you were you asking about the mobile, or going, I guess, back to what Aiden was saying too about mobile things. The system is so well. Some of these systems are so mobily designed well. I don't know how to say this without sounding silly, right? They're designed so well to be used mobily that the bots that have came into this game, the programs they made to auto-bot this game, work way more efficiently than you ever could to. They all pick a Slayer class. They all get the movement speed buff, and they take off and go faster than you can. The only mount that can keep up with them right now that I know of is a mount that has an ability to run like this. It gives you a short temporary speed boost. So they have, all you see is nothing but Slayers flying in a straight line like some kind of shadow cabal of just Slayers, all with random keyboard face roll names. So, and they all spam messages. They'll whisper you. They'll do all kind of stuff. So I think a lot of people have turned. In fact, look, my chat hasn't even popped up. That's how few people talk in area chat, because I guarantee a lot of the real players have probably turned area chat off. You know, so it's a shame that the one place you can ask people any questions, you would think in area chat, most people who are actually playing the game have it turned off because it's used by the bots. So, I mean, I think Lost Ark knew way before, I say Lost Ark, Smilegate knew way before that they were going to have this issue. They probably have it over there too. I just don't think... We'll have to see, I guess, in the next month or two how the numbers are gonna equal out. I'm seeing less of them. I will say that. I am seeing less of them, especially here in Phaeton, or Phaeton, however you say it. Hell, let's go run around for a second. Let's see if we can find a bot. I mean, chances are you might, but I don't think you really will. I don't think you're gonna find one. Especially with like a green glowing item, you know, on their back. That means they're probably close to 1100 or something. Could it be? I mean, yeah. Depends on what server you're on. True. You know, the server that I started on, I kind of said that at the beginning, probably before a lot of you guys joined. I started playing the game like about 3 weeks ago, maybe, or maybe 4 weeks. So the server I jumped on was made after that, you know, initial crash, which is one of the reasons I avoided the launch day and the launch week. I knew that was going to happen, especially with Amazon. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? Look what they did with their own title. How did you not think they were gonna fuck this one up? Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to get that silly, but well, I guess I kind of do, because I know a lot of people got frustrated, especially with New Ark. You paid $40. At some of y'all paid more than that, and man, I can't even play for the first 48 hours. The game costed less than the hours that I couldn't even log into it. Like that's crazy, you know, when you think about it like that. So anyway. Of course, they bumbled, you know, that and messed up with the servers. So when they launched those new servers, I joined on that fresh set, right, that came out. So probably, like Iskar is saying, I'm safely assuming you're playing, and you probably played on an older server. Have you played a little bit earlier, maybe since launch? So your older server probably has more real people on it, or they have more advanced bots, or hell, it might be a combination of both. More advanced bots who are higher in gear score and more people, you know. My server, the one that I picked, Vicus, there's never been a queue since I've got on. I take that back. The first day might have been like, your place in queue is number 10. It took like 5 seconds for me to get into. You know, the message, I could barely even read the whole message before I logged into the server. So that's fine. And being in queues is nothing new to me. I can't stand it anymore, and I won't go back to it. Oh man, Burning Crusade. When Burning Crusade launched, the original Burning Crusade, guys. I was playing on Mal'Ganis' Alliance. Well, I think I talked about it in one of my other videos. I'll have to eventually make a World of Warcraft video. I guess I have to, right? That one, that Mal'Ganis, the queue for launch day, I want to say I was like in my queue, my place in queue was like 22,500. Estimated login time. They went balls deep. And they used to do like greater than or less than if it was an hour, or like an hour to 12 hours, they would use a greater than or less than symbol, and then put 1 to 12 and then a HR for hour. Not for Burning Crusade. It literally said greater than a day. Like the word a day. I'm like, oh no. Yeah, and there's no way I can get proof of that, because obviously that doesn't exist anymore, but I'm like, maybe I was smoking something serious that day. Who knows? But I could have swore it literally said a day, and it was at launch day we couldn't even play. In fact, it took us like 2 or 3 days to get in there. 22,000 player queues. I'm glad that happened back then, and there's no reason for it to happen now. Do I wish a game that much success, to have that much popularity, to have that much people wanting to log into the game? Absolutely. I hope a game comes out that many people want to play. But fast forward, well, damn, almost 15 years from just that launch, from that release. We definitely have the technology to handle that. We can definitely handle that, In fact, going back to Final Fantasy XIV, I'm not completely sold on their data center, the way they use the main data center, but they're able to instance things out. Well, I guess before Shadowbringers launch, right? And Asmongold did his live stream and shot gave it, a light that some people never saw before, right? But regardless, look at that. That's a AAA perfect example, actually. Better than Amazon. That's a AAA publishing game company that's been in the game for a long time, man. Squaresoft. I know a lot of you older, viewers remember that. You remember the good Squaresoft games. You remember, Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, or 4 or 6, whichever, version you played first, the SNES or the ROM version from Japan. And you learned, a little bit of Japanese, right, on the slick. So, that they had such a huge game company with such success, with all of that talent, and they know they have all these, and it even hit them. So I'm not saying that anybody's immune to launches, but to expect that Amazon wasn't going to bumblefuck this up was, I wouldn't have betted on it. I definitely wouldn't have clicked, I wouldn't have YOLO that button for the gear honing if Amazon was the choice. Amazon Game Studios, anyway. I mean, let's be honest, does New World, does it look like they still want to give it development and stuff? I think so. I'm sorry, let me get back to chat. I was rambling on about that. I hope this doesn't minimize the game, guys. I'm sorry if it does for a second. I need to pull this window above that one. I'm sorry. It's coming back. Did everything come back? I hope it all came back. It's my first time setting it up like this too, guys. Do you think we'll see a new subscription-based MMO? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Technically, you asked something. But I think I picked up that by playing Adventure... Oh, Adventure Quest. Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. I did play the Adventure Quest 3D. Alright, it's on Steam right now in early access. I know some of you guys hate early access, whatever. It was released, and I did try it out. And I think that 3D might not be their thing. If you want to be fun and you want to poke fun at things, like I haven't played too many or even played it that much, any of the Adventure Quest series, but I do know that they're kind of comical. It's kind of made to poke fun at stuff, but at some point, when you have a story that's poking fun, you have what little voice acting there was. Everything, the text is poking fun, but you also have textures and special effects and VFX and sound effects that are also 30 years old. Eventually the funniness part is overseen by all the obvious, and again, this is on early access, available free to download, so it's not like you're trying to show people a proof of concept 4-year in the process alpha here. This is about to be the final release game. Let's face it, anything in early access is 99% what you're going to get, for the most part. So, I just don't see it being a complete package for it to come around. At least Adventure Quest 3D. Adventure Quest Worlds, I have to check into it to see what's in that. But the 3D version on Steam, nyet. Do you think we'll see a new MMO-based, a new subscription-based MMO release to try and compete with the big names? Well, I think what we've done is, I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and just say no. I don't think that anyone is going to come out the gate again with a subscription service. Could it happen? It could. I think Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft are the only two left. I don't think anyone could come... let me rephrase. I don't think anyone would want to come out with something that could be on that level of quality and content and polish, and you can say what you want about both of those two games. But man, their level of polish is almost immaculate when it comes to all the technical things and some of the stuff that you have. You know, even down to sound effects matching the left and right footstep, even a mouth moving in a cinematic, even something so simple. You know, you're not going to see artifacting from older, I don't know about the newest expansion for Blizzard, but for the most part, that they have that level of quality. I don't think another game company development out here right now, I hate to say it, but it's such a cash grabby market now that there's kind of, you'd be kicking yourself in the ass to go back to that sub model. I think you really would. Look at Solo. Solo kind of kicked itself in the ass by coming out as a buy to play model with no way of playing the game for free ridiculous amounts of time to even buy it. No way. Just right. It's one of the reasons Solo's flopped. It was $40 price tag right out the box. The MMO genre, other than Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft, we're not used to have to pay money. Does BDO and some of these other ones? Yeah. Oh, Lord. How can I get rid of that right there? Oh, boy. Oh, God. Alright, well, I guess YouTube will get rid of that. Sorry. I don't know if it's going to delete that. That's a hell of a comment. So, getting back to that, Aiden, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that any company wants to put in the time and effort it would take to put something out and have a roadmap, a continuous roadmap that is, you, not only are you expecting a roadmap, like, hey, where the hell is the roadmap? You know, wondering where it is. You know one's coming. You know content's constantly being made and constantly being developed for one price. I don't think that business model is I'm sorry. It's totally sustainable. I don't see companies going back. Why would you want to start making millions when you could be making billions? What, because you want to do the right thing? Yeah, I mean, that sounds good, but come on, get out of here with that. You know? Let's face it. You know, most of us put in the same situation. You know, if, well, billions versus millions? Is this a joke question? You know? Now, will you get a much better following and a much better fan base because of that decision you make? Of course. But I don't think any game companies are even left right now are indie studios that could afford to take that gamble. You know, the MMO genre is the hugest, you know, when it comes to development cost in any other game. You know, just the back-end network and stuff is extremely expensive. Let me go back to the chat. I'm sorry. I'm getting, it's scrolling out of my window. So the subscription base, we touched on that. Cyberpunk was the most upsetting launch for me. So, oh my God! Of course, yeah. A AAA game studio failing me. I want them to all assemble together like the Avengers and make a great ass game already. Oh, I am totally on board with that. But I think what the reason you just said of what you want them to assemble like the Avengers and get together, that would only hurt their money bracket if they actually got together, because they've all have their own quote-unquote, oh, I'm sorry, let me bring the game back up, their own quote-unquote gotcha systems. And, I mean, Epic Games and their FIFA loot boxes. Guys, there's legislation that was written like 2006. It's in California state law. I think it's one of the states, state law, where they've actually patented and used legal legislation to get their box mechanic. Like, it's crazy. And this was a long time ago. So, of course, all that was going to make its way in. So I really don't think, and like you were saying, Technica, about them coming together to avenge to make it, for what? Why would I want to give loot box money to another company? I can make my own loot box. In fact, most of the games right now, that's kind of where the content lies. It lies a little bit more in that loot box. Like, they put more visual effects into the store page and the honing page. You know? Alright, now this one, okay, I lied here. This isn't moving, but some of the store pages on some of the games actually have, like, JavaScript and 3D animation and stuff going through the UI. It's like, really? You have to blow my mind that much? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off track. Let's get back to the comments. Right, so Cyberpunk, that was, what else can I say, right? I mean, I think everyone ripped that game apart. They should have waited. I think everyone also said that. That's pretty much the only thing that I can say now. I think the game has gotten to a much better state now. And if they continuously updating as a live service, like you almost kind of have to now. Video games are kind of a live service no matter what now. So you kind of have to keep it updated. But with the amount of money and the sales they got, that was a little, man, fuck that. That was completely inexcusable what happened with that. That was. The only reason that I don't compare the Final Fantasy Shadowbringers bumbling to that was because I don't think they honestly thought that I really don't think they thought they were going to get that many people, you know, which again, it happens, you know, but in the Cyberpunk thing, you knew just from pre-registered sales how many people were going to be interested in this, and you should have been like, you know what, let's do the right thing. We're not like Final Fantasy, we haven't launched anything yet, so we can do the noble thing and not launch yet. But they were like, nah, fuck all that, man. Look at, you know, Dreamworld and some of these other NFT meta world catastrophes that are going on right now. And they were like, we have an actual game that you can use your keyboard and your mouse and jump. They're not going to complain about this. And it's, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Oh, please, nobody bring that up. That's a sore topic for me right now because it's running rampant right now. Right, alright, so let's go to next. That needs money to happen. I only needed a free MMORPG game because I was a kid at the time, but I really wanted a better game to play. And look, there are some good free-to-play games that you can, in fact, sometimes BDO has a free-to-play it and then earn it challenge, the game, and you can play, now you have to have a good bit of time and like a Saturday and a Sunday, but you can play for like from zero, like I remember one event, level 0 to level 50. If you did that on the free weekend and you got it before the Monday reset, they gave you a free copy of the game. They gave you a code and it got activated in your, you know, in your Kakao account at the time, which now it's Pearl Abyss. And oh boy, Kakao and ArcAge, who would have thought of that? And then ArcAge and the NFT, oh my god, they should have launched it like that a long time ago. ArcAge was ahead of the game for NFTs. Lord, man, that was the best survival MMO ever in history. I actually have a video, and if you guys would want me to make that, I would love to give you an in-depth guide about ArcAge, the depths of this game, and how it was kind of one of the dirty words in the MMO world for a while, for good and bad reasons. But anyway, so let's get back to the comments. A free-to-play game. Yeah, technically, I can get to free-to-play is the flooding the market as the only competitions. Well, you're right. You have to now. And you kind of have to be free to play unless you know beyond a shadow of a doubt you can deliver. You know, like, oh, let's look at a game that everybody's pretty familiar with right now, Elden Ring. One of the reasons it's been so phenomenally successful is because you have a very nice track record of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Like, you took everything you learned from those games, and you stepped up the ladder. You went up, you upgraded yourselves. You guys did what you're supposed to do as developers. That's one of the words, that's one of the, you know, secondary meanings of developing. It's like, I'm growing here, I'm getting better, I'm getting bigger, whatever. A plant's growing, it's developing, you know, developing in maturity, however you want to word it. I think we should be constantly growing, not going backwards as a game company and game developers. So when you have something like that, massive sales, right? Massive sales of Elden Ring for $60 a pop too, you know? So you can still do it, but again, going back to them, that wasn't a small indie studio. Now when Elden Ring came out, was it? You know, you have the money back in it, so you kind of have to come out the gate free to play in some cases. Let's see. What's the current game craze? Like how the Battle Royale was like that, was like what everyone was doing. You know what? I don't really know, Takina. I'm not really sure what the craze is right now because I think the Battle Royale, I'm sure it's still popular. Oh, I'm sorry, that's my phone. He would call it this moment, huh, Aiden? That's funny. So, going back to the Battle Royale, I think that it still has its spot, but it got tainted with the loot shop mechanics. The cash shop mechanics, and I think it kind of died down a little bit on popularity. I have to say, I don't know if you guys have tried the new Fortnite, or not the new Fortnite, but the no building Fortnite. I have to say, I'm enjoying it a little bit. It is kind of nice, not having to build. It's a fun. It's better without the building. In my personal opinion, it's a much better game without the building. They could take the tank out too, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, the Battle Royales kind of fell off. I think MMOs are in an extremely weird place right now because there's so few to even play. Survival games kind of took off for a little while, and I think people are going back to more of like Tunic. I don't know if any of y'all watching have heard of Tunic. It's a Steam only game right now, and it's kind of like I'm not gonna use, I guess I'll use the word cute for lack of a better term for right now, but it's got a more nostalgic feel to it, with obviously some of the new updated visual effects and lighting and, you know, shadows and stuff of Unreal and some of the newer advancements. Kind of like Valheim, where you have very pixelated graphics, but the lighting, the shadows, the wind effects, all the visual effects are top notch, you know? I mean, they have ray tracing in Valheim. You know, like, so the lighting and all that is wonderful. So when you add those things along with some of those nostalgic things, I think, to get to your question, to try and answer it, I think nostalgia, that might be maybe the trend right now. And it doesn't matter if it's MMOs, if it's Battle Royales, if it's JRPGs, if it's solo player Elden Rings. Maybe that's kind of the kick right now. People are going back to, I know it's weird, on older times when games were better, right? It's kind of weird. Or maybe that's, who knows, you know? I think that's kind of my personal opinion. I know we have, like, Lost Ark. Man, this game is really good. It does have a lot of stuff going for it. And I think that they can, I mean, they're going to keep a good player base. You're not going to have another top-down isometric experience in an MMO, in my opinion, other than this, with Albion Online. That's the only one. Albion is actually a very solid game. Its core gameplay loop can be punishing if you don't have the time for it. But overall, everything about it, the way it's packaged, is very nice. You get a little more PvE experience here with Lost Ark. I was explaining to one of my friends earlier. The rating here is, again, I didn't do one yet, but you can up to 8 people. And it's nice because you get more than 4 players, like the Chaos Dungeon that you guys saw me doing earlier in the stream. That's max at 4 players. Later on, you can do more. You can do up to 8. Whereas in Albion, if you want to go do a raid with your friends, you're going to have to go to a T8 black zone. And, oh, man, you're going to fight a group eventually. You eventually will. So if you haven't got to the raid boss yet, I mean, chances are when you're fighting him at 50%, that other group of 10 is going to roll in, or you're going to see a T1 blob at the south corner, and you're going to be like, son of a bitch! You know? So, at least in Lost Ark, you can get raided on while you're raiding, you know, because their true raid scenarios happen non-instance, whereas here you're going to have an instance scenario. I'm not going to read that one. I think you get ESO, which has every monetization practice in existence in one game. Oh, Soko, my boy, yes. Thank you, Soko. Has been a very good subscriber, a very good viewer, patron. I don't know what to say, man. You've been really good, very interactive. Thank you. And you're right, ESO, every monetization practice in existence. Well, it's funny you say that. Josh Drive Hayes has a video that outlines this way more than I could ever do, or I guess maybe I'm not going to try and do it everything he did in a short time frame. But to sum it up, Elder Scrolls has been given the unofficial first microtransaction with a freaking armor for a horse, right? And then fast forward now, and you say that ESO has, Bethesda has just about every monetization practice that you can imagine. Now, some people blame ZeniMax. I don't think ZeniMax really has much anything. I think it's all Bethesda's doing. Let's look at Fallout 76 or a few other games I guess we can follow a track record for those guys with. But he's right. They do have just about every one in existence. And the one that made me stop playing ESO was the crafting bag. I was unaware that if you didn't re-up and get the $15 subscription fee again, you were going to lose. You were going to lose that. You could take stuff out of the crafting bag, but you can never put anything back in it. If anyone's ever played Elder Scrolls Online, by the time you're level 10, you want to shoot yourself for inventory management. Everything you kill drops like 4 or 5 items. Everything you gather and loot drops 3 or 4 items for a reason. They want to purposely fill up your inventory to force you to get that fucking crafting bag. And then I realized that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to max out stamina on every character class, on all of my characters, all 5 of them that I have VP'd out, or CP'd out. I'm sorry, I don't know if I said VP'd out. It's been a while since I played EDSO, I guess you can tell. And I'm not about to max out all their horse stats just to give them extra inventory space on each one, that it takes one real life day to max out each horse stat. So over 5 characters, that's 60. What's 5 times 6? That's 30. Add a 0, that's 300. Really? 300 unmissed days to log on to each character to do this? Alright, now it wouldn't take 300 just if you did inventory. It would take a third time of that, but it would take 100 days. But still, regardless, you can go fuck yourself with all that and the crafting bag. And I did say that in my Elder Scrolls video in my release. That was one of the major red flags if you thought about playing Elder Scrolls. Play Elder Scrolls if you enjoy the lore, if you enjoy the world, if you enjoy Skyrim. Do not play Elder Scrolls Online if you enjoy crafting or you enjoy gathering. If you craft and gather, you will drive yourself fucking mad. The system was designed that way. So, yeah, ESO, great point. And yeah, he knows too. Another reason Halo Infinite had no releasing separately with the multiplayer free and the 6-hour campaign was afraid to make a good game with an You know what? I kind of agree with that. I think that's a good point. Now, I haven't played the new free multiplayer Halo Infinite yet. I'm going to download it and give it a shot, but everybody's saying great things about it. But you're right. You can only release a small portion of something that's great for free, right? For, whatever. Now, I don't know all the details. I'm sure they probably give you some options maybe to get like a discounted package for the rest of the game. Who knows? Call of Duty and Blizzard Actiblizz. Wow, y'all. I'm not even gonna talk about that. No, I'm not even gonna mention that. That's a whole nother live stream I could go days in for that shit. So let's not talk about that. But you're right about releasing a good game with an IP people trust, or I think what they're scared of is releasing a bad game now with an IP that people trust. Maybe they were testing the multiplayer out first. I don't know which, I'm pretty sure they both launch at the same time, or in fact the single player campaign launched first, but regardless, some of these games are beta tests for other things. I used to say Black Desert Online was a beta test for a while. I used to say it was, because it still kind of felt like one. But I think now, given a few years, especially since I thought that, no, this is a flagship. For the most part, it is a top-notch AAA MMO that you would come to expect. Does it share some of the things that we'd like in some of the other games? No, but that's what makes it different, Their money was guaranteed, they just had to make a game. Yeah, you're right. Not hot, but what type of game do you think is cash cow like the Overwatch was made? People tried to copy that. Oh, cash grabs right now aren't even in the NFT sphere. If anything, it would be NFTs right now, and I wouldn't even say it's in the gaming sphere, because a lot of you guys watching the stream right now, I would assume you're probably hard gamers, you're probably hard gamers. I don't know if I'm too small to get in trouble for that shit anyway. And YouTube, you should know better than allow something like that to be posted on the live stream. You definitely can't blame me for that. I'm playing a game, watching it on the screen, and doing all this other stuff. You out of your mind. So anyway. Yeah, I know. I never thought about Technica. This is my first time, so I'll try to have to do something. I don't know what. In fact, can I even do anything to this person? High user on this channel. Jeez, I'm sorry about that, guys. For any of y'all, please don't hold me accountable for the silliness. All right. Oh yeah, nice. It did it. All right, cool. It did. Removed everything. Sweet. Yeah, so I guess that's what a mod would do. So now it messed up my chat because it did all that. Wow. Yeah, I'm really bad at this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm kind of sweating over here. Right. Let's go back to where we were. Only competition. Right, ESO, right, guaranteed money. Not by what type of game. Cash cow, right. I think NFTs and the fake metaverse stuff is becoming a huge issue. Yeah, it did. It did, Aiden. And when I did that, it blocked everything, deleted everything, and also reported it. I can see all that on my end. So it showed me all that. So I'm sorry, where we at? The cash cow. Right. I think NFTs and attacking people that are gamers. I know a lot of you guys viewing right now. Definitely, I would say probably in the hardcore section of gaming. So an actual game. If you're on, like, let's say, MMO Bike's channel and an ad pops up for a game, well, you expected to see an ad for a game on his channel. It's a gaming channel. Name me one gaming channel that's popular that you guys have seen an ad for Earth 2 or some shit. or a metaverse game. Well, they don't, because they spend the ad money advertising to people that don't actively play games. They actively search for people who don't play games because they know gamers aren't going to hear nothing but 30 seconds of this shit and be like, all right, cool, can you give me a screenshot? No. Well, can you give me a wallpaper or something? Well, no. Well, can I go to, like, the website and watch, like, a little gameplay video? No. Well, do you have any artwork for it? No. Is it going to be a first-person, a third-person game? Is it going to be, like, top-down, isometric, or fully 3D? My name's Jeff. And you're like, Nani? You know, so any gamer's going to pick that shit apart right away, you know? But unfortunately, in the gaming sphere, that's where some of the, I think the development is going, and some of the developers are going to, because let me not talk about the blockchain and NFT stuff, because I feel like it's getting really nasty, you know? In fact, it's getting to the point where someone does need to step in. Let's see. No, right. We're not guaranteed the type of game. I think cash cow. I actually felt like playing the old GBA game ROMs. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because okay, maybe I shouldn't say that on live stream. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. There's a program that came out, though, and you can download it on your freaking phone now and play ROM games. So you probably know what I'm talking about. And that's all I'll say on ROM stuff. I'm sure that's probably pretty off limits to talk about. Fallout 4 was quite immersive, so I was a bit excited for Fallout 76, but I just saw bad reviews for it. I think Fallout 76 is in a much better state now. What ruined it... Oh, let me bring the game back up. I'm sorry, guys. What ruined, I think, Fallout 76 was... Oh, I don't know, the 3 million people that knew how to get in the dev room. You know, from like the first few weeks of launch or whatever, or that big content patch. And I was like, how did you even leave that in the final ship version of the game? Real quick side note. When AAA game companies, like these dinguses, Bethesda, Jesus, you would think you're one of the tops, right? You have different staging of builds, right? You have a staging build 1, 2, 3, and 4 that your in-house beta testers use. You have a shipping build that is the last build that your beta testers are going to test on the live service before it goes to the live build that gets shipped out, or called the shipping build, right? There's so many different builds that you get to play with. And how in the absolute fuck did you forget to remove a developer's room to use during beta testing for in-house? How in the hell did you forget that? So anyway, aside from stuff like that, going back to what you were saying, I think Fallout 76 in a better place, but they tarnished so much of it by doing that. With the way it was launched out, with the way it rolled out, that you're right, it did put a lot of bad people's a bad taste in. And just from you sawing a bad review, you probably haven't touched it. I haven't either, because of all the bad reviews. But I kind of knew that they were going to bumble some of that stuff up. You could almost kind of smell it. Again, going back to what Soko mentioned earlier about that. Oh, damn, ESO. If you did it with them, how are you not going to do it with something else? You know, and they had time, too, to practice some of those shady techniques once Fallout 76 got dropped. So anyway, that was all block. You might need more mods, right? Just report block, right? So you were saying cash cow games are in NFT space. Yeah, I think so. I tell you what, we're going to take a little pause here, guys. I'm going to go use the little boys room, and then I'll come back and we'll pick up with the NFT cash cow stuff. Just give me a few minutes, guys. Oh, I hope everything's still working, huh? Yeah, it looks like it. All right, yeah. So yeah, it's cash cow games and NFT space. Yeah. I tell you what, I was thinking about how to kind of talk about it. I think that the NFTs could have had. Listen to what I'm saying. Could have had. That's like three past tenses, right? Um, there could have been something for, like, say, artists, for instance, like upcoming artists. I think that could have been the new way to do art and to sell art as an artist. That could have been used for that. But the NFTs now have just been too. I think they've just been too tainted. I think too many people, 100%. I must go ahead and say 100% of scams. You'd actually have to prove me wrong in that scenario, and hell, good luck with that. Uh, that for that exact reason, the name is so tarnished now and so dragged through the mud that I honestly don't see. And just think about the definition of it: a non-fungible token. How can you have monetary value? It's something that literally tells you it's the opposite of fungibility. For those who are wondering, fungibility is a fiscal term used to, describe if something, well, not all fiscal, but it's still generally used to describe if something can adapt and change and be used for something else. Right, the first letter of NFT tells you that it's not fungible. It doesn't cooperate with anything else that you're used to, right? So, whatever. That's a whole nother topic, but I think just the targeting of the gamers slash non-gamers, it's been so rampant. I don't want to give any of these guys too much, viewership and throw names out there, because I think the projects are hideous, but there's much bigger YouTubers who have made, very good content about it. So, like Earth 2, if you guys watch that, you'll see that these kind of things. Pretty much any NFT that's coming out within the past, 2 or 3 years, they've all been, rug pulls, rug pulls and cash dumps. In most cases, they've broken, just about every theft and every, how do you say it? Intellectual property laws that you have, art theft, digital art theft, and then reselling it and taking non-profit artwork and then selling it for, well, non-profit artwork is an odd term, but it's just, it's like a nothing but theft over theft over theft over theft. And then even the artists that do make some original NFT pieces, man, there's horror stories online of what's happening to these guys. You're making $5,000. That's what they paid you to make 100 bunnies that could change in an algorithm program, change hair, eyes. We see it all the time as gamers in character customizations. You ain't did nothing but took Black Desert's character customization before you even start the game. You just took that one thing, made a way to do it 100 times automatically, and sell that out to people, and then pull all the money. I mean, fucking genius, man. It's mind-blowing and infuriating at the same time. But yeah, I think a lot of things are heading into that way. Technically, just to kind of go there, because there's so much money to be had. They're seeing it now, and they're going to start incorporating NFTs into games as actual games. And I mentioned it early in the live stream, but ArcGage is making an NFT game, and it's like, damn, Jake, damn, Jake, you really can't give us a break, huh? You can't, man. And we had you used to lead some of the more innovative products at the time. Jake Song, for you guys who don't know, he used to work for NC Softwest. He co-founded XL Games. This guy worked on Lineage. He's worked on Aeon. He has a huge talent and a very nice history back and behind him. And then he rolled out ArcGage, So it's kind of weird to see them to be like, especially with the ArcGage IP. If any of y'all played that game, you would know, like, wow, some of these mechanics fall right into a pyramid scheme NFT structure, and it's fucked up. Like, does that mean I don't have to? So you mean to tell me, Jake Song, I gotta pay taxes in the game with real life labor, with the time labor and the labor system and all that, and for my plot of land in the game, but I also have to pay upkeep and buy an NFT of the plot of land digitally outside of the world and own that too? Like, oh my, what do they plan on doing? And that's probably what they plan on doing, selling plots of land as NFTs, baby. And you can't get this digital piece of land if you don't own the actual NFT. How many plots of land are going to be empty in the game because the NFT owners is a bot or a wallet account or not even a real whatever, just to hold the land? Oh man, you see it all the time. Want to sell cryptocurrency land bots, and then people, Jake, they're gonna let you steal the land that you just bought for 5,000 F. Wham! Oh, the bot put it down first. Your demolition thing. I beat you, baby. I got better ping. Can you imagine? Oh wow. If your NFT just got stolen by someone who had higher ping than you and was able to put the land down, that would be hilarious, right? Damn, they're not gonna leave me alone, huh, guys? Seems like they're gonna figure out a way to keep coming in this stream, huh? That's crazy. I'm gonna have to figure out something for that. Let's see, a really great trading card game that can be made with an NFT. I mean, in all honesty, from what you just said, there's one company right now that could do it. They have everything in place to do it, and they could merge the two together, and it would be absolutely, I think they have no idea what they have in store for them. And I'm talking about Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast, let me go to my thing. I gotta get my mission started, guys. I've been running my mouth this whole time. Wizards of the Coast with Magic the Gathering. You have the card game, which has been around for forever, and you have Magic the Arena, which is digital card game. And then you tried to make an MMO. We all know how that ended. I have a video on that. You can watch that on the channel, so it's pretty upsetting. But that really sucked because I really wanted it to be good. That really sucked. They have all the makings they need, and they could attach the actual cards that I own. Some of you guys probably own to the Duel Arena. They could attach that maybe to the MMO, but they could also attach that to a system they already have in place. I mean, you got TCG Player. You have, and in fact, for a while, they did their own, or they were, part of their own monitor. They have a say-so on how much their own cards are worth. So why not just combine the Price Card Almanac with all the other systems you have, and you actually have an NFT universe, maybe the first one in existence right now, and you guys don't even know it. It's right underneath your nose. You just need to take some of these things, and don't be a dipshit about it. That's the main thing. Don't be a dipshit. If you actually have a product to offer with your NFT, whether it be a receipt saying you own a Jim Carrey painting, or a receipt saying you own a painting from a guy who's, on Jackson Square. That's a talented artist that's just on the street. He might not have the clout of Jim Carrey, but he's in the NFT program just like he is, so why can't he have that chance too? So I think there's some things that can still work it for. Boy, I just gave Wizards of the Coast the idea, didn't I? Those dirty bastards. At least give me some money for that when y'all do launch it. Jeez. Anything, right? So yeah, the NFT space, I just think that it's too polluted for anything to come out of it unless someone comes in there with a big enough wallet and the right reasons. Otherwise than that, I see it just continuously going down this rabbit hole until the federal government eventually comes in, shuts it all down. Cryptocurrency is going to collapse because they're going to take over it and decentralize and centralize something that's supposed to be decentralized. But I think that's a whole nother can of worms. Cryptocurrencies itself. Well, I really think great trading card games, but I don't know. It is mind blowing. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Probably trading card games are the only thing that would amount with the NFT model for the current situation. But guys, I just realized that I've been streaming for like, how long has this been going on now? They're even taking my bandwidth down. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours, and I do have to work in the morning. So I guess I'm just gonna call it here. I'm sorry I didn't have that much gameplay. I really didn't even know what I was gonna be doing here tonight, guys. In all honesty, I was just keeping my fingers crossed that somebody showed up on the live stream, and then one person showed up, Aiden showed up, asked a question. And then I answered it. The next time I look over, I have a few more viewers, and now we're almost up to 100. So that's really good, guys. Thank you so much. I have no idea that many people would be interested in me just run my mouth when I really wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit of action on Lost Ark. I guess you can tell that this is currently what I'm enjoying right now. Have I gotten to the aggravating tier 3 mechanics yet? Not yet, but I know it's coming. So the way I'm playing the game is I'm playing it I am trying to find Makoko seeds on the maps when I get there first. I'm trying to do the little yellow quest if there's a side quest there first. If I get a map, I get that when I'm excavating, or if I get something, you know, world tree leaves when I'm chopping down trees. I'm doing all this while I'm playing. I am spamming F, but only during the story part. Now, here's another thing I'll say before I cut it short. The story in this game, I know people were talking crap. It's actually very nice, and some of the parts that you're not necessarily forced to see, there's a few cutscenes you can't skip at first on your first character on that first account. But it's only like 3, I think, thus far. Not nowhere near like Final Fantasy's MSQ. But what you can do is, wait, what was I talking about? I'm sorry, the main story quest. It's actually really good. Some of the little cutscenes and stuff, they're actually really nice. If you don't skip them, you let it play. The camera panning in the game's pretty good. That's why I feel like there's something in store, because maybe they might do something for us, like back out the camera a little bit. You can only have 2 zoom in points. You can zoom in like this, which, as you can tell, it's not a truly 3D background. That's why they added the DOF, or the depth of field mechanic, when you zoom in like this. You can pull out a little bit and see you're out, but obviously you can't play like this. You can barely see. You can press the buttons and do all this stuff. Let me get out of here, man. I keep talking about the combat, and I haven't even blown anything up in a while. Let's just teleport somewhere, because you can't attack in town. Nothing. It's grayed out. You can't do anything, which is weird. God damn it. What if a horde shows up, you know, and he gets on top of the auction house? Like, what am I supposed to do? Just let him sit there and dance? You know? Supposed to turn him into a sheep for like 5 minutes until 30 people show up and all pyroblast him at the same time. Oh, that was so fun. Wow, that was fun. Ah, get off me. So yeah, this is the normal way you play the game. And then, so as you can see, the spell effects, obviously you can see everything. Now, I can zoom in. Now, I can't really tell what the hell's going on, but, I mean, if I want to blow something up, fuck it, let's go for it, you know? And it completely becomes screen clutter. Way too many effects. In fact, let's drop Doomsday on my head. Rip, nothing, you know? So, really cool effects. Again, the visual effects team and the sound effects team did a really good job here. You know, so I have to give it to them. A lot of love did go into it. It's not, you can tell that this has been, yeah, some things for this localization didn't come across well, but the level of polish on most of this stuff is really nice. You know, it really is. So, I do think the combat's really good. And I wish they would be a little bit more open world along to go with that, because once you get to certain areas, there is boss mobs in the world, like as you're leveling up, but it's such a time-gated event that it's hard to do that. Like, I wish somebody would just pop up right now and be like, oh, this, you know, cool mob that can give you something cool and kind of hard just popped up in the world. Because it's a, as you can see on the mini-map, it is linear. It is linear. The world is linear. It's not going to be as open as you would want it in some other games. Now, is it more open than some other 3D games that are MMOs? Oddly, yes, it is. It's more open than that. And there are hidden places, too. So when I pressed M just now, you saw, let me kill these guys so I can get out of the way of something. Dude, I love the sorceress. She's, like, ridiculously OP, right? Everything she does, especially when you pop this, let's go Saiyan mode. And it's going to one-punch anything that I touch. It's just insanity. It does like 1,000,000 crit. And I'm in tier 2. I'm not even in tier 3. So it probably does like close to 2 million damage. Lightning strike when you're, and my specialization isn't as high. I'm only at 409 right now because I'm doing a swap. I'm doing a stat swap, so I destroyed all my accessories. Oh, look, I got accessories. Oh, it's true. We ran a chaos dungeon. What were we doing earlier? I wasn't paying attention. So none of them have specialization. Ripperoni, dude. I'm trying to get to like 900 right now, which I think puts you at around 400 or 450-ish percentage of specialization meter. But anyway, I'm going off topic. This is a pretty linear map. You can see it on the mini-map too. Now, in some of these darker areas, yeah, there is hidden areas. So I wish they'd introduce that to you in the game. In fact, I think they should tell people that. They should let people know that maybe in one of your first quests that you do on the first island in Lutera, hey, go in this place that you don't know is here to grab this thing. And just say something like, you might have to look beyond a waterfall, right? And you'll run into it. And it'll actually take you off of the map, off of the mini-map, too. Like, see, I keep pointing at the damn screen. See, I'm in this gray area. Well, when I go to the end of it, obviously I hit the end of the gray area. But there's some places on a lot of maps where you walk into it and it's secret. And I'm like, that's a mechanic you should have introduced to people. You shouldn't let them find that out on accident, because a lot of Makoko seeds are based off of that. Some of the ways you can get around other dungeons or get into another area on one of the islands, they have little secret walks like that, and you do nothing to explain that to anybody. Now, I know there's probably hundreds of guides out now about Makoko seeds, and you can go get them, but again, like I said, the way I'm playing the game right now, I'm just taking my time. I haven't looked up a single Makoko guide. As you can see, I'm still 3 out of 10. In fact, I'll show you all my collections. Where are we at? I'll go to collectibles. A lot of menus, too, in this game. If you go back to the beginning of the live stream, I talked about being in menus, and I think you understand what I'm saying. So you got Makoko seeds, Ignia tokens, World Tree leaves, sea bounties, masterpieces, Omnum stars, Giant's hearts, and island souls. These are going to be your 2 most common ones that you're probably going to find yourself doing all the time, really, especially going from tier 1 to tier 2. Doing those islands for mats. You can honestly skip islands for tier 1 materials. They give you so much. Now, the Makoko seeds only got 199 and 200, and it shows you, I mean, there's a collection status for all this stuff, but it's the rewards, obviously, you're after. And I've seen some people already with, like, what the dude had the title, right? Makoko Hunter, that's 700. That's a lot. And then if you go to the next one, I saw one person somewhere with a nice smelling title. So, like, that's 1100. That's almost every Makoko seed in the game. I don't know if they have guides for every Makoko seed out in the game. I mean, I haven't watched any of them, so I don't know. But I'm just trying to take it all at once, because I know that everything I just showed you on the collectible screen eventually is going to become fluff and filler to the almighty RNG of plussing up my motherfucking gear, right? So, you know, there's kind of no way of getting away from it. At least nothing breaks on this game, and at least eventually you'll get to the tier. Whether it be a few weeks or a few months, that depends on your RNG and how things fall with you. And it also depends on how much money you're willing to spend. Obviously, you can bypass a lot of that time if you decide to open up your wallet. They really don't care. They're pretty blatantly honest about it, you know. Is it pay to win? Let's go to the Proving Grounds. I'm going to click this tab. I'm going to do this. I'll talk about PvP one last time before I end the stream. Because I think it's kind of important. Oh, look at that. I have 5 wins in a row. I don't know. I got a little achievement for that. I've been doing really good at the team elimination. But here's, I think, one of the reasons why, right? Because here, in any one of these areas, except, I think, custom game, which I've never made one yet, but I think if you go through Proving Grounds, if you go through the Proving Grounds tab, everything follows the same. I think it follows all the same mechanics. Now, if you go to... Let me show you that real quick before I show you that. If I go out here to the world map, see, it's broken up in little tiles, and these are the sea and everything. Man, I got so much stuff I guess I could have showed you guys, and I've been streaming for almost 2 hours now, and didn't even touch half of it. We've been talking about all kind of other stuff, so I'm glad you guys have been engaging in stuff. I was so worried that nobody was going to watch. So we'll go back. Let me go to the island, just one of the tiers in the island, and see this cross right here, the cross swords. That means that this is a PvP island. So here on islands like this out in the world, the only thing that matters is this, press and P. What you're wearing matters. Your engravings, all out attack, your igniter, which is my class engraving, that matters. All of your gems for your reduced damage, all that matters. Whatever cards you're wearing, all that matters when you fight another person on an island. Now, when you do this, the Proving Grounds, you go into this thing called Book of Coordination, and it's a preset, not a preset, there are different presets, they give you some that you can select, but this is the one that I made, and then you can have multiple different ones, like they give you an option to have 5 different presets, and they give you max points, 340 points, and they give you 1,000 stat points to use, and you can put them out however you want. This is kind of like a mid build I found for the Sorceress, because she can be kind of a pain in the ass to PvP in, I'll be honest. Because everything you do has a cast time. Everything you do has a cast time, whether you think it does or not. And if you get interrupted in one of these things that doesn't have a cast time, but it doesn't, it goes on cooldown anyway. And you didn't even see the animation for the cast time. It just went on cooldown, and you got screwed. So PvPing on the sword kind of can be a pain from time to time. You have to really, really pay attention to location. and direction of where you're at, because you can get locked on the Sork, not because someone CC locked you, which I will say there is a problem, a tad slight problem with the CC in the game, but on the Sork you really see it, because sometimes people can't lock you, or they shouldn't be able to lock you, but because you have to animation on some of these long cast times, it gives them enough time to throw back a quick little CC, and can kind of, when you got two other people hitting on you too, or someone couldn't throw something, it does give you a false sense of perma stun lock. So I'm not saying that it's not the worst or it's horrible, but it's also not the best. But let's face it, I mean, someone can name in chat any game that has balanced PvP all the way around. I mean, you're going to have some things. Now, Korean games, we all know, I think now, that they lean towards, I want to stun you the whole time and never give you a chance to retaliate. Rawr! And you're like, no, at least let me get a chance to show you I suck. Don't just let me let me think that I suck. Let me actually find out that I suck, Let me actually be able to hit the guy, right? I mean, whatever. That's, again, topic for another discussion, I think. But when you're in the Book of Coordination and you're doing the Proving Grounds, everything's the same. You have no cards, no gems, no extra anything, no pet, no nothing. These 1,000 stat points, these 340 skill points, and whatever build you want to make. That's it. And everybody has the same HP. Everybody has the same behind-the-scenes stats. These stat points are the only thing that changes how you play. And you're like, oh, he's got 400 endurance. Yeah, again, because I said the sorcerer. That's just one of the things I found I had to do as her, is because you're going to find yourself getting hit in your animation so often, you need the endurance just to survive some of the attacks while you're actually casting. Now, when I hit somebody with Punishing Strike and Inferno at the same time, because I have them caught in reverse gravity, yes, it does hurt as shit. It's 3 abilities. Yes, some other classes can spam 6 or 7 abilities in that same time frame and do a quarter of a life bar, and with those 3 hit, if they crit, man, I can do a half of an HP bar in just those 2 skills. But it took me about 8 seconds to get those 2 goddamn skills off, where you got off 8 skills in 8 seconds. Most other classes. Now, some other classes do suffer from a cast delay and animation delay, but nobody like the sorceress when she's not in igniter mode. But I know that they're going to be, balancing stuff out. And again, it's not unplayable. It's just a little aggravating. That's it. Because I played some of the other classes in PvP. And only remember they have guard mechanics. Yeah, that let me show you that. Right. Yeah, let me show you that I don't know how to play yet. Right. That's good, because it shows you, I think, as a player that, hey, there's a whole nother level that I can get to, right? Not just, oh, all I need to learn is to 100% stun lock somebody. That's it. That's all I'll ever need to know how to learn. Fucking sign me up, bro. Get out of here with that. And anyway, like how the bad guy talks a bit and taunts and on. I wish that happened more in fighting games. Yeah, and I think, what was it? Dungeon Fighter Online just got launched, and it's got kind of some of that going for it. Now, I haven't played it myself, and don't quote me on too much of it, because I've only seen some footage. But I think introducing, in fact, this game, Lost Ark, does it with one of the bosses. And any of you guys that played Terra, I think you'll know what boss I'm talking about. It's one moment in the game when I had a flashback and thought that I was playing Terra. For a split second, it's with the clowns. All right, the clowns from Terra and the clowns in this game, that one section of the main story quest, I got a flashback for a second. And that character, he's still alive right now in my main story quest. No, he got eaten up by, what's his dude? Anyway, spoiler alert, sorry. He was a really intriguing NPC. He had a really good voice. Like a little joker, like a joking kind of voice with him. He had good dialogue, and he had good things to say, like, funny things to say back and forth. And there's actually a few times in this game where that happens. But I wish that would happen more often. And Adventure Quest, I know we were talking about earlier in the stream, they used to be known for that. But with the Adventure Quest 3D, again, when you try to add some of that silliness into it, with all the textures that are in, 12 by 15 resolution, stretched across a 4K screen, it's just, ouch. the iStore is too big for you to unnotice whatever else is going on. Doesn't matter how funny the joke was, doesn't matter how epic the fighting game or the fighting was, in that particular scene with like a certain boss. If everything else that's around it is just so blatantly like, what the fuck? You can't not. I think eventually everyone will even be like, damn, I was on board at first, but man, this is getting overwhelming. Kind of like what happened to us in Solo, who played, Swords of Legends Online at the beginning. We kind of did feel really played with the way I played on launch day, from launch day, and I quit a little after it went free to play, and I was really upset with the way that they rolled out the content, a lot of stuff in a game that you can bring some of the stuff back we didn't have from from Korea or Japan, but you. God, it's so hard to say. Like you just kept us chasing gear that if you didn't constantly play the game, you were never going to catch up. And they've kind of introduced some of that in the Lost Ark and some of the other games where I don't want to chase gear. I remember the old days where I got a piece of gear finally, and it was what I needed. I didn't get the piece of gear I finally needed. Now I gotta pluck this motherfucker up. Now I gotta enhance it. Now I gotta put skill gems in it. Now I gotta put an extra thing on it to change this to make it mannequin-wise, so I can put something from the cash shop on that to put on this to make it to change its appearance. And its appearance looks like everything else, except it's got a cool name and it's legendary, but it's a shitty appearance, so you can go to the cache. I don't think I need to go any further than that. I think you guys understand that point. But yeah, I'm going off, right? I'm sorry. You have to play the 2D Adventure Quest worlds. Yeah, I think I do. I need to check that out because I think it's got some. They have some good stuff there, and if we were talking about nostalgia earlier, I think a lot of people are gravitating more towards back some of that nostalgia stuff. Yeah, and I am gonna have to check out some of those Adventure Quest worlds. And last question. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Technic. You can ask. Yeah, go ahead. One last thing, and then we'll call it a wrap here, guys. Did you play Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean before they shut down the MMORPG? No, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Atlas. I don't know how many of y'all played it, but I was looking forward to it, and there was another game too. Damn it, what was the name of it? It was supposed to be a little more hardcore than Atlas, like a more, PvP focused, right? Atlas. I'm trying to think of hell. I think the game's not launched anymore. But I was looking, and again, I bring Arcade back up. I keep bringing it up again. So many good things in that Arcade system, right? Jake Song, why did you abandon us, dude? So the sea combat and the pirate aspect. Granted, it sucked if you ever got your pack stolen on Arcade, or if you've ever lost gear in Albion and got ganked by 6 people versus 1. But those kind of situations. That's what pirating is. If you're going to pirate something, even in history, you were completely usually outnumbering the others, or you had some form of an advantage. Now, I don't think you should give players an advantage per se in that kind of system. I think skill should determine whether you succeed at stealing somebody's stuff or not. Arcades used to be that until they were just yee, swipe, 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 whatever. But the point is, I just don't see how you could have an interesting all pirate game. I don't see how sea content, and this is just me personally, I don't see how sea content could keep anyone engaged enough. And like you said, before they shut it down, probably for this exact same reason, because it couldn't keep people engaged enough. Imagine a water world, like the Kevin Costner movie for, the 1990s. When I first saw that, at first you're like, wow. And of course, this is, over 20 years ago, but you think that, damn, they really made it all. No, they would shot it out in some little lake, with all that stuff to make it seem like that. But I think the point is there. You're going to have one, fortress, every 3 or 4 miles. It would be hard, I think, to make an MMO out of pirates without you being able to be like a mermaid maybe and can swim under the sea. And then have your MMO universe would be like a sea that you can travel across, but also an underneath biome. Imagine if they had breathable air biomes in Arcade underneath the ocean. You swam down to a bubble, and eventually you would fall through the bubble, and it would be a housing spot. And it's under the ocean. Whoa, that's a legit reason to come out to the ocean. And when you go high enough, you can just take a rocket cannon or something and get back into the water and start having to breathe and running down oxygen, summon a ship, go look for treasure. I mean, I think there are some things you could probably do with it, but I don't know. It just seems to me personally, what could you really do with purely ocean content, you know? Oh, the P was that. No, I don't think you know. No, I didn't. Yeah, no, I said that. I didn't play the game, yeah. PvE invasions in the game. Oh, okay, so they did have islands and stuff, yeah. Yeah, I didn't play it. So, I mean, maybe. You know, if it's a shame too that it was using that IP, Pirates of the Caribbean, and they shut down. Do you know the time frame on that? Maybe you can leave that in the comment section. I'll look for it later if you know the time frame of how short it was. Because it kind of reminds me, like we talked about Magic Legends earlier. You had such a good IP, and I mean, damn, you got Magic the Gathering. Jeez, man, that's like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy level IP. Man, how did you fuck that up so bad with that game? You know, how did you do that? You know, and well, I mean, I made a review on it, so I guess you guys can go back and watch it. And it was just, oh, why did you tarnish? And I think they wanted to hurry up and ditch it because they didn't want that many people to know that it tarnished. Now, like what you're saying with Pirates of the Caribbean, great movies, completely different. It's not like you have a video game thing to tarnish, you know. And I'll be honest, I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, you know. So I mean, for the first one, I can like almost go line for like the first 5 minutes of the movie because I used to work offshore and I didn't have much to do. I had a PSP and the little UMD disc, and Pirates of the Caribbean was one of the 3 movies that I owned. So I watched that. Trying to think of what the Click and something else, and I just over and over and over again. So that the One Piece is kind of saying like the Pirates might be one of the best games to be able to make, maybe. I don't know what I mentioned because the mechanics of the game and the atmosphere and the player space was unlike other games. No, I agree with that, with what you're saying. I do think the pirating mechanics they do have a place to play. They can have a place to play in games, but you don't want to completely isolate. And again, I'll go back to Arcade because they also, not only do they have a pirate faction that you could join, you know, naturally and be read to everybody, but they also had the player nations, which they long since removed for good reason. For player nation, geez, you can just imagine the toxicity it created. I really have to make that video, I guess, about Arcade. Anyway, you're gonna have, with that pirating aspect, there's always, like, you're looking over your shoulder, right? You don't know you don't know who in your party might be whispering to somebody to say, hey, you know, get everybody from the guild. These guys are loading up. They got 2 merch ships coming out. You know, it's full of cheese. You know, get out there and get it, right? You never know. So it gives a different level of play. And that's how pirating stuff, I think, would normally go. You know, like back then in reality, you know, you're not going to just bulldoze everything and come right at it. You'll have some form of subterfuge. Now, am I a fan of that? I think Elder Scrolls, for you guys that are in chat that have played Elder Scrolls and played multi-faction games with 3 or more factions, you can see how that kind of gameplay can easily can be abused and become supremely toxic. You know, Arcade's toxicity with nations was limited. You were limited to how toxic you could be in a nation. Whereas some of those other games, there was no limit. In fact, you got to those certain levels and you kind of ran shit. Now, I guess you could say Arcade did let you get to a toxic level because you could literally shut servers down. But there were certain things you just couldn't do. You know, like just sit in somebody's house who was, you know, a Nuian or a Harani, and you couldn't just kill them if they was in one of their zones. Now, if you go out to Diamond Shores and you're shooting a cannon through their closed house while they're trying to take a sleep, hey, that's fair game, you know? But anyway, let me let you guys go. I can't believe I've been streaming for this long. I'm hungry. I need to eat, and I need to get some sleep so I can head to work tomorrow. But thank you guys so much. Please leave anything in the comments of something that y'all might want me to try. I'm so glad so many people showed up. One of the reasons y'all haven't seen a lot of stuff on the channel lately is because I don't know what to do with the MMOs anymore. It takes a lot of time for me to put a lot of those videos together. In fact, most of the games I've played for years and years. And if I wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't have been able to put the videos together in the time frame that I was able to. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, what would you guys be interested in seeing? Because just me personally, I'm kind of having a hard time with the MMOs because they're doing so many crappy things to us right now. And what else more can I say about the same 5 games? You know, could this be a new game that I might start making some content for? We'll see. I think Lost Ark has got a lot of potential here, and even though they blumbled up, you know, tier 3 from 30% down to 50%, by the time hopefully they revert that change, I won't be, you know, I'll be there and I'll be ready for it. But I mean, we're gonna have ups and downs in every game, you know. So just leave me a comment down below that, you know, of the live stream, and just let me know what else other games you guys might like, you know, want me to try out. You know, technically, you know, I would try out the 2D Adventure Quest, and I'm curious to kind of see what happened with the Pirates of the Caribbean one. I just want to know if there's any stories behind it or if there's any reasoning behind it, you know, just to kind of see what their rationale was, or I should say their rationale, to see what their public relations statement was. But, you know, we'll get there. But thank you guys so much for the stream tonight. I did not expect so many viewers. Thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all again next time. And please leave anything in the comment section. And until then, I'll see y'all later. Have a good one, guys. Oh, I need to know how to stop it, huh? Oh, you'll figure it out, dude. You'll figure it out.